um, I want to talk about longevity because when we think of like hip hop longevity, there's not a person that has more longevity than you. Like I
Yeah,
can't, like shout out to Run DMC and Grandmaster Flash, but they're not making music no more. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And obviously, rest in peace to Jam Master Jay. But the longevity, there is a whole nother level of longevity that we're inside of when it comes to you and your career and the eras of your career and the
yeah,
tree that you've, where it's the acting or the executive producing, the radio station, the
yeah.
festival now. Is who's an artist that you are just a fan of that's, of the newer generation that you can see kind of being around for years to come like yourself?
Oh man, I think it's a lot of them. I think that Kendrick can have a long run. I think Drake can have a really long run. I think um, there's a lot of them. I think Future can have a long run.
Yeah.
I think because he's a great writer. I think you know that really comes down to a lot of different things, man. There's a lot of things that come into play with that. It's not just look. First of all, you got to love it and you got to care about it.
Right.
And if you're only doing it just for money, even if you happen to catch the big check, that won't be enough for you to keep going the distance because you'll get lazy.
Yeah.
So you have to love it.
And you're not always going to be on top, so the money's not always going to be there. So you got to put up shots just because you like putting up shots. Like you like to hoop or not.
That's true too. Well, that I know what you're trying to say, and yes,
right.
There's a certain amount of money. When you make a certain amount of money, you're good regardless.
Right.
Like, so it doesn't really become about that per se. It's not about like a salary, but it's more about like if you get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like it's about being creatively comfortable as opposed to being willing to take some chances, take some risks. And also there's the fear factor associated with art, right? Like I could be like, yo, I could have just been afraid to make new music. Just because I think the world changed and just let that idea of the world changing intimidate me into thinking that I have nothing to offer as an artist. But that's not true. That's something, those are fabrications we create in our mind. You have taste. If you pay attention, you have taste. If you pay attention, you know what you want to play. You know what you want to spin. You know what you want to listen to. You know the topics you want to discuss. Like, so we all have a point of view. It's just you have to be confident enough and open enough to be vulnerable. Remember, sports is a good metaphor because most people can relate to it. The greatest athletes in the world are the most vulnerable. Why? Because in order to take the game-winning shot, you have to risk missing it.
Yeah.
And the whole world's watching. Yep. In order for to shoot that shot from the tunnel, like
you got to know you got to know what comes with missing it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So that as an artist, when you're creating music and all that, it's the same idea. It's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? People could love it. You gotta love it. So you gotta have confidence in that. So me, I just love what I did. I promised people I was doing an album for the culture. I told people, I have two types of albums that I make. I make albums sometimes for me. Typically, those albums are not commercial and only a very small handful of people really appreciate them, and most people don't. Then I have other albums that I create where I do an album that's really for the culture, where I'm really locked in and paying attention to the culture, and I do those for them. This is one of my cultural albums, so that's why it has that different feel to it. Now, that being said, there are two audiences. There's the Don't Call It a Comeback audience who've been knowing me from day one, and there's the He Raps audience who are going to be surprised by this new artist who is a celebrity. They know it's a celebrity, but may not necessarily know him as a rapper. And so you have to get something that you could press play on that both of those audiences love, or at least do your version of what you believe they'll love. You know what I mean?
Yo, so when I was a little kid, I scoured every warehouse in Phoenix, Arizona to find the deluxe edition of DMX's It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Now, LL, why would I want to find the deluxe edition that came with an extra disc? What song was, do you remember the song that was on the extra disc?
Was it Ill Bomb?
No, it was The Ripper Strikes Back.
It was The Ripper Strike. That's right. It was The Ripper Strikes Back. Damn, yo, that's right.
When I tell you, and the CD looked just like DMX's album. And so I had like, bro, when I tell you like that, I know that entire song by heart. Like, obviously you've been a part of legendary hip hop battles. I just got to know, just from a fan's perspective, what do you think about this, you mentioned Kendrick and Drake earlier. You just, you know, I mean, I think it's good for hip hop. What are your thoughts about the?
I thought it was great for hip hop. I thought it was great. Yeah, I thought it was great for hip hop. I thought it was the right thing. I thought they both did well. They held their own. I thought Kendrick won, but I thought that Drake by no means did he embarrass himself or have anything to hold his head down.
He showed up. He showed up.
He definitely showed up. He did his thing. He showed up, and I think his fans can feel comfortable with that. And I think Kendrick fans, and they probably got a crossover, both of them, of fans that love them both. And I thought it was great for hip hop. And the key to that stuff is as long as it doesn't distract you from your ultimate goal, it's a wonderful thing to participate in. I love it, man. It's a win-win. I love it.
Yeah, it was dope to see you think cannabis too on, was it the Hall of Fame speech you had?
Oh yeah, 100%.
A couple of years ago.
Because like, listen, man, like it's about the art. Like this stuff is, you know, this is no different from, you know, LeBron and Steph. It's no different from, you know, Jordan when he was coming in and Magic was going out, or, you know, whoever you want to name.
Anthony Edwards and Luka, we just saw.
It ain't no difference between Anthony Edwards and Luka.
You're on the court. Yeah.
If you're on the court, so you're on the record, it's cool. After that, it's not personal. You know, I love you. It's all good, but it's hip hop and it's fun. So I think it was great for hip hop. I like it.
Talk to me about you are obviously in some legendary movies, a part of some legendary soundtracks as well. I was just talking to my boy because I just had a conversation with Demiza, Damian Young from Power 106, and he was talking about the first time he heard Zoom. Because I guess
Bullworth soundtrack.
Yeah, and the Bullworth soundtrack was crazy, right? But obviously, Heart had us like a shark's fin, and you know, any
Deep Blue Sea, you know.
Deep Blue Sea was crazy. In your opinion, what is the best movie that has aged over the years that you were in?
Wow, me?
Yeah, that you were in, because you were in some heat, man. Like my personal favorites, Any Given Sunday.
I was about to say probably the one that aged the best would be Any Given Sunday, and probably In Too Deep.
In Too Deep was fire. Also, How to Rob on the soundtrack.
How to Rob, 50 Cent's first joint. Yeah, well, first song. Yeah.
Right. I had the vinyl. Yeah.
On the label. Yeah. 100%. 100%. How to Rob was on there. I think Nas was on that soundtrack. It was a few people on there. It was dope. It was dope.
Okay. So this album, what made, you know, because obviously Q-Tip is a legend, you know, one of the greats ever, just in terms of just, I mean, I got Tribe as the top 3 group all time. I think he's one of the best producers to ever live. What made you guys come together and decide to do this together?
Man, it's really just kind of funny and simple. I had a dream about Phife Dawg. You know what I'm saying? And I was at the time I was working on a studio with Dre. We got like 30, 40 songs I was working on, me and him. But it was
Dr. Dre.
Yeah, Dr. Dre.
Just throw that out there nonchalantly. Like, me and Dr. Dre got 30, 40 songs. I never, ever, but, you know,
And, but I felt like, I didn't feel like my pen was living up to the quality of his music. I felt like the music was better than the songs I was writing. So I decided to take a little bit of a break, and he had other projects, so it didn't affect him, you know, and I was kind of just like pulled back just a little bit, and started thinking about my writing and thinking about like how I wanted to approach this thing. And then, you know, Phife Dawg came to me in a dream, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm really telling you the truth. No cap. This is real shit. He came to me a dream, and I was like, yo, he just was basically like, yo, them songs you're working on, they dope. And I was like, yeah. But then he looked at me with like a little smirk, like maybe they're not so dope. And I was like, And when I woke up that next day, it stayed on my mind. And I said, you know what? Something just told me to call Q-Tip. Wow. I said, because I can't talk to Phife direct, so let me call Tip. And I called Tip up, and I'm like, yo, Tip, man. I said, yo, I want to do an album. Well, he said, well, what you want to do? I said, man, I want to do the blackest hot sauce chicken wing, flour in a paper bag, seasoning joint in the world. So it's hip hop. I said straight up. He said, what's up, big bro? Say less. Next thing we did, we went to the studio, and here we are, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just was like, it was inspiring. And it's not that it's excluding anybody. I just wanted to be focused. You know what I'm saying? And really make some dope shit. And we got in the studio, and it just, man, we just clicked. We just clicked in the studio, man. We just started working. And You know, I mean, look, even Saturday Night Special, that's just the tip of the iceberg, bro. Like, I'm telling you.
How many songs are on the album, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not gonna reveal it yet, but I'm gonna come back to you. We'll talk again as I'm rolling this thing out. We will talk again
in person, hopefully, because we're in LA. We're all both in LA.
Yeah, come in person, 100%.